I try and do the simple things at home, like turn the lights off, don't leave them on, don't use too much water, and feeding into clothing, I like to go op shopping and use hand-me-down clothes and basically just think about where my money's going and also what I'm consuming and where it's going after that, like in terms of food and technology as well.
And specifically on the clothing, are you repairing and reusing as well as op shopping?
Yeah, so if there's a problem with some clothing I have, like a rip or something, I can either like rip it more and make it more fashionable or patch it up a little bit. Like sewing a button is just so easy. I feel like everyone should know how to sew a button. And looking online for inspiration for projects to use bits and pieces of material to put together into clothing is another thing I like doing.
So you're using a sewing machine?
Yeah, I do have one at home, and I also do hand stitching.
We have been brought up in a preconditioned society where we have to follow the trends and follow what's hot right now, or what's on the market, and there's this whole kind of, you know, this idea that whatever you wear must reflect your personality. Therefore, if you do not dress according to the trend, then you're not keeping up with the norm, you're not, you know, addressing what's currently new. And
do you try and keep up or what?
No. Oh gosh, no. No, I don't like to keep up with the trends. I mean, there are some things, of course, that I do like, that I do gravitate towards, like I love roses and I love certain colors, like I love blues and reds, but I do not believe that I'm not a big follower of the trends. I don't intentionally go out to buy such things. I think that I generally go for comfort and what will last.
And how do you go shopping?
Well, I love op shopping. I like to go to op shops, especially around Stones Corner, and I think Annalee is great. But, you know, I do go to the mainstream shops as well, in Carindale and in other shopping centres. I think with our lifestyles, it can be unavoidable sometimes with the time frame that you have. But I am also known to hoard a lot of my old clothing because I know that I use it. I actually, like to repurpose a lot of my clothing as well. I cut it up and I like to make little art installations. However, I like to make skirts into tops and vice versa. I do that a lot. You see a lot of fraying on my clothing.
And what techniques are you using? What handmade techniques?
I usually just cut and sew just by hand, or well, I love to crochet. However, I crochet more blankets. But usually it's just cutting straight with scissors and simply sewing. I think that you can create fantastic items with even just minimal work.
And how did you learn these techniques, or how did you get started?
I learned these techniques from my mother and my grandmother with the crocheting a little bit. My mum showed me how to hand sew, but it was something that I also learnt a little bit at school as well. They touched on that with home ec. However, I suppose a lot more of it came from experience as well, just you know, trial and error, just practicing and just trying, I think, is the main thing. Just spending the time on it and willing to, you know, to just to try.
This is something that I grew up on, going out to the reef every weekend with my dad on his boat, and then knowing that the places that I used to go to were gone, and actually some places that I went to are now completely dead. It was disheartening, and I just decided I needed to make some changes.
And what sort of changes have you made in your life as a result of that?
I have started to basically not buy anything brand new. I, on the occasion, like underwear and socks, but most of my clothing, everything I'm wearing today except my underwear, are all from op shops. I try and like minimize the amount of plastic that I have in my waste, and I started returning all of my plastics to Coles. I actually work there, so they don't get very happy when I'm returning it. And I also I spend a lot of time making sure that everything that I have can be recycled and can't is all filtered out, and so everything's going in the right bin. I didn't realize that the tops of milk bottles and plastic bottles cannot be recycled, and only the actual bottle can. So that was a new one for me that I learnt the other day.
And just on your clothing and your op shopping strategies, can you tell us how you deal with that?
With great difficulty. Definitely. I'll have a look at what is sort of trendy, and I'm still in some ways, I am ashamed to admit, but I am still probably a little bit vain in some respects, and I do like some new fashion trends and things like that. And so I try and make it as sustainable as possible. I'm not going out and buying things at H&M and Zara and places like that. I'll go to the op shops and I'll go to Lifeline and I'll try and find things that are suitable there. Yeah, for the most part, I'd say about 80-20. 80-20.